Hello and welcome to your yoga strength class. Today's focus is on the lower body. For today's workout, you will only need your body weight, and if you'd like to add a little bit more, you can feel free to grab some light dumbbells, and the recommended weights are in the description down below. To start today's class, we will meet at the top of your mat, just finding a nice position for our Tadasana today. Feel free to lift your heels off the floor and then lift your toes off the floor. Once you find a good center of balance, lifting your arms overhead on the inhalation and exhaling to forward fold from those hips. If you do have the dumbbell, feel free to drop it off. Inhale halfway, either grabbing a hold of the top of the dumbbells or on your shins. Spine is nice and long here. Exhalation to now grab a hold of the dumbbells or on the floor. Bring both of your legs back to meet in a downward facing dog, shifting your hips nice and high towards the sky, and spine is nice and extended here. On your inhalation, lifting your right foot up, bending the right foot and threading it through to the front between your arms here. Bringing the back knee on the floor, and on the inhale, extending your arms nice and long. Crown of the head is lifted in our low lunge. Exhaling to meet your hands to connect back to the dumbbells or the floor. Return your leg back to meet the other in downward facing dog, squeezing your navel up towards the spine. On your next inhalation, lifting the left foot, bending the left foot, and bringing that left foot to thread in between your hands. Right knee is on the floor, low lunge, hands extend up, inhale, and exhaling to return your arms back down and pushing your hips nice and high in downward facing dog. Looking towards the front of your hands, either stepping or hopping forward, bending the knees, and then extending the knees back once you're in forward fold. Inhalation to reach your hands nice and high towards the sky, and exhaling, bringing your hands in heart center, namaste position. Inhale to reach your arms nice and long. Exhaling, forward fold from those hips. Inhale, halfway lifts, eye gaze slightly forward, and exhaling, curling the spine. Navel draws in toward your spine and kicking back into downward facing dog, really lifting the hips and shifting your body weight back. Inhaling, bending the right knee, thread it through in between your hands. Left knee comes in contact with the floor. Hips are nice and open. Arms are lengthening up towards the sky. Low lunge. Exhaling, reconnecting your hands to the floor or the dumbbells. Shifting back in downward facing dog. Bending now the left knee. Thread that left knee in between your hands. Right knee comes in contact with the floor. Reaching the fingertips nice and long. Inhale. And exhaling to reconnect back. Push yourself back. Body weight shifts into downward facing dog. Looking towards the top of the hands and the mat, either stepping or hopping forward, meeting back into forward fold. Inhale brings us up into standing, reaching the fingertips nice and long, and exhaling, hands back in heart center, namaste position. And now keeping your hands in a prayer position, stepping your right foot behind you in a 45-degree angle. Right heel is connected in the center and the right toes are facing the outside of your mat. Making sure your hips are pointed forward the whole time in Warrior One. Inhale to reach your arms overhead and bend deeper into that front left knee. And exhaling to extend the knee and lower the hands. 2 more times. Inhale, reaches the hands overhead nice and long, lifting your spine and the crown of the head towards the sky. And exhaling to extend the knee and release the arms. Last time, inhale, reaching up nice and long with your fingertips up. And at this moment, you can either keep your hands in a lifted position or you can keep your arms in heart center in prayer, holding here for a couple moments. Nice deep inhale through the nose and deep exhalation out through the mouth, strong in the legs. And on your next exhalation, hip hinging forward and lifting the right leg off of the floor while bending a little bit deeper into that left knee. Reminder to not hyperextend that left knee, tapping that right toes onto the floor behind you and lift on the exhalation. If you do need some extra support today in your balancing, feel free to use your wall to guide your hands to support yourself as you lift and lower your legs here. We'll do this one more time on the exhalation, lifting your arms overhead, coming into our beautiful balance posture, holding here with the legs lifted, hips are nice and pointed to the floor parallel. One more nice deep inhale, exhaling, and on your next inhalation, dropping your feet back down to the floor, dropping your hands in prayer, and coming into the second side. On your next exhalation, coming into your left leg behind, heel comes inward, toes outward in 45. Inhalation, bending into that right knee forward and lengthening the arms in front of the head overhead. Exhalation to bring your arms back down to the hips, extend your knee, and inhale again to reach nice and long, opening through the hips and the front side of your body. Exhalation, one more time. Inhale, coming back up, reaching your arms overhead, bending into the knee, making sure that your hips are pointed forward, holding with the arms overhead or in heart center. Holding for a couple more moments, focusing on the breath work. Last cycle of breath. Nice deep inhalation and complete exhalation. And on your next inhalation, dropping your hands in heart center, bringing now the left leg into extension, lifting up, hip hinge from the waist, and tapping down on your inhalation. Exhale to lift the leg a little bit higher than before, and inhale to tap back down, keeping that standing right knee bent and squeezing your navel up towards the sky as we hip hinge forward. Last time, in lifting the leg up, exhale, bringing the arms overhead, biceps towards the ears, holding here for last 5 seconds. Keep breathing, you can do it. Last opportunity to lift that back leg a little bit higher, hip hinge a little bit more forward, arms nice and lengthened. And on your next inhalation, slowly bringing your arms and your legs back into the center, back into Tadasana. And on your next exhalation, reaching your arms overhead and bringing yourself back into forward fold. If you did have your weights, feel free to drop them on the floor. Bring your hands in contact with the floor and shifting your hips side to side, bending one knee and then extending the other. A couple more variations you can take is to bring your arms on the outside of your elbows and shifting your hips side to side, or perhaps grabbing a hold of the back of your calves, opening the elbows out wide and deepening your forward fold this way. The last variation is to create a mudra with your index finger and your middle finger to connect onto your big toe. Wherever you may be, we are holding this forward fold and releasing the back of your legs for last cycle of breath. Nice deep inhalation through the nose and deep complete exhalation out through the mouth. And on your next inhalation, reaching your arms overhead, biceps towards the ears, and exhale, hands back into heart center, prayer position. Next, we are continuing on in the center of the mat in Utthita Hasta Paranguttasana, and we are connecting your left knee into flexion, and you can bring your left palm onto your left knee on the outside, or you can bring your index finger and the middle finger in a mudra with the big toe and bring your arm inside of your leg. Exhalation to bring the leg out to the side, and inhaling to bring that bent knee and leg in through the midline. Continuing on here at your own comfortable pace, really making sure that you are grounded with that standing foot on all 3 points, and making sure that if you do start to feel a balancing sensation, feel free to grab a support on the wall space. Continuing on for last 2 movement patterns here, exhaling to open the knee and the leg, and inhale back through the center, squeezing navel towards the spine, and crown of the head is lifted. On your next exhalation, open the knee out to the side, and if you did have your index finger and your middle finger connected with your big toe, extending the leg out to the side and your knee extends fully. Or you can be in between and you can just hold with your knee bent with your mudra connected. And again, the last variation is to just simply hold on to the outside of your knee and really squeezing everything in the midline. We're just holding for last 5, 3, 2, 1, and on your next inhalation, slowly bending the knee back into the midline and slowly releasing it back down. Now we will switch to the other side, bending now into your right knee, connecting your right hand either on the outside of the knee or reconnecting in the mudra. Exhaling to open the leg to the side, and inhale to return back in through the midline. 3 more times. Exhale, open, and inhale, close. Looking at one point in the room to help with the balancing here. You got it. Exhaling, really drawing the hip and the knee out to the side, and inhale to return back, nice and engaged through the core here. On your next exhalation, open the knee out to the side and either staying here with the knee bent or coming all the way with the leg and the knee extended to the side. We will hold here for 10 full seconds, cycling through your breath work. Nice deep inhale through the nose and deep exhalation out through the mouth or the nose. Centering your balance with that standing leg, feeling a nice rootedness from the earth to the sky. And on your next inhalation, slowly closing the leg back into the midline, dropping your foot down to the floor, recentering your balance with both feet on the floor, lifting and lowering your heel and the toes. And when you feel ready, coming back to the standing top of the mat, grabbing your dumbbells if you'd like, and on your next inhalation, reaching your arms overhead into chair, bending into the knees here. Exhale to bring your hands back to the sides, extend the knees, and inhale to reach your arms overhead, bending deeply into the knees every time. 3 more times just like this. Squeezing your navel back as we lift the arms and bending a little bit deeper than the last time. And exhale, return back. Inhale into chair. Exhaling into Tadasana. Last time here. Inhale into chair and holding your arms overhead, sitting a little bit deeper into your chair, shifting your hips back. Another option is to keep your hands in heart center and twist, only if that feels right for your body today. If coming into a twist, feel free to bring one hand down towards your foot on top and the opposite hand with or without the dumbbell coming and opening that top arm, shoulder extending out to the side. And if you are doing the twist, making sure to do both sides here. Open to the opposite side, feeling that nice intertwinedness with your waistline, your hips, your legs, and the back. Holding for a couple more moments. Nice deep inhale through the nose and deep exhalation out through the mouth. And on your next exhalation, slowly coming back into forward fold, dropping your dumbbells down if you had them, and holding here for 2 cycles of breath. Other option is to bring your hands into an interlace position behind your back to get a little bit deeper into your forward fold here. One more full and complete inhalation and deep, complete exhalation. And on your next inhalation, if you had the dumbbells, bring them with you up, back into standing. On your next inhalation, bringing your hands overhead like we did in chair, lifting the heels off the floor, slowly dropping your hips towards the floor, and we are transitioning onto our floor. We're going to start our floor combination by coming onto our belly. Transitioning into grasshopper, bringing your feet a little bit closer than hip distance apart. We are making sure that your thumb is inside of your fingertips, creating a nice fist. Now threading and bringing both of your hands in the inside of your hips, making sure that you are not on your bone of the pelvis, but more in the inside, so very close in the center. For the head and the neck, you can either choose to keep your chin completely in contact with the floor, eye gaze lifted, or you can bring your forehead to connect onto the earth and relaxing the back of the neck. Now we are transitioning into our legs, so lifting one leg off of the floor while maintaining contact with the arms and the pelvis, and switching, alternating the leg lift up and down. Inhale as the leg meets the floor, and exhaling to lift the legs up the floor. If you'd like to make this a little bit more challenging and into full grasshopper, now lifting both the legs off of the floor while still maintaining the contact between your hands and the pelvis. Inhale down and exhale, keeping the legs nice and extended as we lift them up towards the sky. 2 more times just like this, either continuing to lift both legs up and down or one leg at a time. Keep breathing through it. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Seeing if you can lift a little bit higher this time to really extend the legs up towards the sky. And we hold here, keeping the knees extended, legs nice and lifted, pelvis still in contact with your hands. Your back of your legs and the hips and the glutes should be working here. We take one more full cycle of breath. Nice deep complete inhalation through the nose and deep and complete exhalation out either through the nose or through the mouth. And on your next inhalation, slowly bringing your feet back down onto the floor, and we're unwinding from the hands. Now creating a beautiful pillow with your hands by stacking both of your arms and your hands on top, and we are coming onto our right cheek, and we are bending into the right knee, bringing it in towards the midline, and just staying here for a moment to release into the low back. Taking a moment to just restore our spine back into alignment, into neutral. On your next Inhalation, switching sides. Now bringing your left cheek to the left side and your left knee into flexion through the midline, and staying here for a couple cycles of breath. Last cycle of breath here. And on your next inhalation, coming out of the floor, pushing into your hands by your midline, and coming into a seated position. Now, for my friends who'd like to grab the dumbbells, feel free to grab it now. If not, we will just be doing this body weight, bringing your hands in front of your chest and sitting your hips down to your heels, keeping your hips and your pelvis in a neutral alignment by squeezing inwards rather than upwards, tapping your hips down to your heels. Inhale, and exhaling to bring yourself back into neutral, tall, kneeling position. Whether you decide to do this movement with or without the dumbbells, we will be here for 5 more reps. Really focusing on your arms, extending and lengthening in front of you, and shifting your hips back into your nice alignment for the pelvis and the core through the midline. And keeping your shoulders away from your ears, squeezing your upper back and your shoulder blades together. Hold here at the top, tall kneeling position. And on your next exhalation, shifting your hips back towards your heels as far as you can go while maintaining a nice neutral spine, and inhaling to return back into tall kneeling. 4 more times just like this. Every time you exhaling and pushing your hips forward, leaning yourself back, seeing if you can get a little bit deeper with every rep you do today. 2 more times. Inhale forward. Exhale, really squeeze your navel back towards your spine, stretching your hips forward. Last time here. And on your next exhalation, holding here at the lowest point. If you did have your dumbbells, bringing down to the floor, removing your dumbbells, and bringing your hands to meet your low back and pushing your hips forward. Inhale to come back into tall neutral spine, and exhale now to shift your spine back into our back bending, open through the hips a little bit deeper while really maintaining contact with your palms on your low back and really bending into your elbows here towards the midline. 1 last full rep and really getting into the range of motion, nice deep into the hips. And on your next exhalation, bringing your hands onto your heels and really coming onto your camel position, keeping a slight arch in your back and bringing your chest up towards the sky while leaning your head nice and long behind you. For my friends who do not wish to come into full camel, just staying at the top position with your palm in contact with your low back. Taking 1 more full cycle of breath here. And on your next exhalation, drawing your chin back to your chest and bringing your hands in contact with your low back if you hadn't already, and shifting your hips back down onto the floor and coming into our seated position. We will conclude class with a series of stretches for your spine and your hips, coming back into the center of your mat in a nice tall spine in a seated position. We'll start with your arms lifting overhead, biceps towards your ears on the inhalation, and on your exhalation, twisting to the right side, really making sure that your head and the neck is following the back hand, into a beautiful spinal twist. Inhale to reach up towards the center once more, and exhaling to twist to the other side. We will continue to flow through this dynamic movement and stretch at your own comfortable pace. Inhale through the center nice and long, so that when you twist on your exhalation, you can twist a little bit deeper with bringing your arms and lengthening your spine even more through the center line. 2 more times, just like this. Inhale, reaches up, and exhaling to really twist, really feel the core and the waistline working as we twist, and really feel those hips opening up with that spine. And on your next inhalation, bring your arms overhead to lengthen, and exhale now to forward fold over your hips and in front, bringing your arms overhead and in front, walking them a little bit further out, away from the midline, relaxing the head and the neck, and the spine is melting towards the floor with your chest onto your legs here, or perhaps even all the way to the floor. Taking 3 full cycles of breath here. Nice deep inhale through the nose and deep exhalation out through the nose or the mouth. And on your next exhalation, slowly walking your hands back into your midline. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting your head and the neck last, and coming back into our seated position, perhaps keeping the eye gaze completely closed or slightly open but heavy. Bringing your arms overhead on your inhalation, grabbing only the positive energy in towards your heart center to nourish your soul. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself today and allowing me to guide your practice. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.